Hello, Abraham. I have many questions. I'll try to make them all fast. First thing is, I've been growing a business for about the last 6 years or so, and I get that there's the action journey and the emotional journey, and when I got that, it really made a big difference. And taking on, the feeling of already having obtained what you want to obtain, but there's still an element of it's not quite there. I have to start paying back my student loans, and I am wondering about, for instance, having to market, and that constant marketing, and constantly being reminded of where you are not. And then someone saying to you, "Oh, how you doing?" And you have to be like, "Oh, I'm doing great," when you're really thinking everything sucks. And so I'm just wondering about that whole, the balance between growing a business, stepping up, showing up, and, part of it faking, part of it working hard, part of it letting go. And sometimes it gets very confusing because I sometimes look at it and think maybe there should be a change of career or place or something as a result.
Well, let's see if we can sort this out, because it isn't complicated. And even though it feels like it is, it isn't. So we're just going to chew with you a little bit until you feel some clarity wash through you. First, we want to say that while it is not a good idea to speak negative words, faking it is of no value either, because the universe is not responding to your words. The universe is responding to your vibration. And yet, you are where you are. So if you are standing in what, financially speaking or comparatively speaking, seems to you like an unsuccessful place, and you are taking score of that, so that's how you feel, then that's the vibration that you're offering. And every action that you offer makes little difference, because you're doing the majority of your creation from your negative stance, not from your positive stance. So you can't offer enough action to make any difference. As we look at physical friends, and we want you to really get a sense of this, you will easily. We know that effort does count for some things. We know that if you're stronger, you can pick up bigger things, and that if you try harder, you can make more happen in a 24-hour period. We're not saying that action is inconsequential. But when you are looking for your action, I will spend this much effort in this much time and I will get this much money back. There is not a distinguishable difference from our vantage point of those that earn the most and those that earn the least from that action orientation. The separation between those who earn fantastically is not an action comparison. It's that they have learned the leverage of energy. And you leverage the energy that creates worlds through your attitude, through your mood, through your thoughts, through your emotions. We like that you are aware of the difference between the action journey and the emotional journey, because what that says is where I am is where I am, but I have a choice of how I feel about it. So our encouragement is that you see action as something that is fun to do and something that may even be necessary to do, but say to yourself, action without energy alignment is not fun, and action with energy alignment is life-giving. Action, once you have tended to the flow of the stream first, is inspiration. It feels fabulous. It's passion and eagerness. But action, because I need to do it, because I said I was going to do it, is what motivation is, and it's bucking a current that takes all of the joy out of the action. So what you want to say is, I'm going to do as much as I can do, and I'll do what I need to do, but I'm going to do a better job of tending to my placement in the stream first. That's primary. And then everything else I have time for. And what you'll begin to notice as you care more about your direction in this stream, the universe will deliver to you more opportunities to leverage yourself more and more. So people to help you, ideas to come, cooperative universe, even cooperative traffic, even cooperative economy, cooperative ideas, cooperative others. In other words, it just gets better and better and better until you'll reach a point, Jerry and Esther are certainly there, where they cannot possibly find an actual correlation between their effort and their reward. It's just too far off the charts. There just are not enough hours in the day, or enough deservability, so to speak, enough energy expended to put a book on the bestseller list. In other words, this isn't about action. There were not big advertisements that went out. This was about a vibrational stance, an alignment, and a cooperative universe, and the inspiration of people who received the feeling impulses to respond. You see what we're getting at? When you put out a vibrational advertisement, the universe cooperates, and your yield, your response from that small effort is huge in comparison. So when friends say to you, how is it going? Or how are you doing? What you want to say to them is, I'm feeling so good. And they'll say, oh, are you feeling good in response to fabulous results? And you might want to say to them, you might not, depends on who they are, I'm feeling good because I'm choosing to feel good in anticipation of fabulous results. And if they say, oh, well, seems a little premature, you're feeling pretty good without any evidence, you say, my feeling of eagerness is all the evidence I've ever needed, because when I feel like this, it's a sure thing. I'm on the brink of great things and I'm celebrating in advance. But, and we loved your word, you cannot fake it. If you don't feel that way, your words come off empty and hollow. If you don't feel that way, your advertisement to the universe is far different than the one that you want to offer. In other words, you've got to feel it, and that is your work. That is the creative work. That's the art of allowing. Reaching for relief, reaching for relief, reaching for relief, reaching for relief, reaching for relief. And even in these upper registries of fabulous feeling emotions, there's still relief. There's still relief. There's no end to how good you can feel. There is no end to your capacity to enjoy your ride on the river.
Got it. Great.
The feeling of relief is more subtle when you're already doing pretty good. When you're fine-tuning, the feeling of relief is softer, but it's still a feeling of relief. So you're wanting to shift from just that frustration and that feeling of impatience. You're wanting to shift into an all is well sort of patient feeling. And that's why you reached for the word patient. Esther tells that to the technical support line pretty often as the voice on the recording says, thank you for your patience. And she says, you misunderstand. I am not patient. I want you, and I want you now. So when you recognize that you have this feeling of impatience and what you want is patience, think about what that means. It means I want to stop my resistance and start my allowing. I want to relax in the unfinishedness of this and anticipate the fun of it. I want to feel that I've put my boat in the river, and where it is just fine because the stream's going to carry me. And there's not a reason for me to be impatient because the stream is secure and my dream is secure and I'm good at what I do and I like what I do and I would do it all again. Now that felt better, didn't it? You felt relief. Yeah. Now we're going to show you something that feels the opposite of relief in something that you said earlier, because we don't want to take you there. We want you to take yourself there, so we're going to take you back where you were. Oh. We're going to drag you back upstream and dump you back in the river.
Good thing I like this one.
So now get a picture of your business and reach for thoughts of relief.
It's exactly the way I want it.
I know I want to do this. I want to do this. I knew it when I first saw it. I can remember how I felt when I saw it. I couldn't possibly be on the wrong track. I'm not on the wrong track. I'm just on a slower track that I want to be on. But it's moving and it's unfolding and I'm making progress. And I've just begun to really roll here. And this is the basis that I'm building and the impetus is picking up. And every moment that my business wasn't really going as fast as I wanted it to was a clarifying moment where I got clearer and clearer about what I want. The picture of my business is brighter and more perfect now than it was when I first started. And all of this wasn't for nothing. It was for something. It was for that. And now I'm ready to start rolling toward it. I know I've paid my dues. I know that I've shifted through the contrast. I know that what I want is alive and well. I know that my source is over there calling me. And I know that I'm on the right path. And I wouldn't stop doing this for anyone. And I don't care what other people say as they're taking score, because they don't know. They can't get inside of me. They don't know who I was before I was born. They don't know the intentions that I had. They don't know the life that I've lived. They don't know the pros and cons that I've weighed. They don't know what I've given birth to. They don't know what my vibrational virtual reality is really about. They don't know what my vibrational escrow is about. They don't know where my inner being is. They don't know how my inner being feels. They don't know how my inner being is calling me. They don't know how I feel in relationship to my inner being calling me. But I do, and I feel relief. This was good, you see.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying the creative process.
That's the work. That is your work. That's more important than all the action you do, than all the people you bring on board, than all the ideas that you offer, than all the money you make. That is the work. The work is to let the creation that you've crafted from your life be what you feel in your belly. It's the emotional journey, you see. And you understood all of that intellectually. You said every one of those words to us when you sat down, and you said it as good as we've ever heard it said, and now you're feeling it, you see.
Yeah.
So now you're flowing, and evidence will appear immediately, and now you're hoping we'll be believing and knowing as soon as this afternoon. Yes.
Someone very close to me lives in a lot of fear, and this is someone that my partner, on a daily basis, and he knows I'm very much into Abraham, and every once in a while I'll pop a CD in the car when we're driving or whatever, but even listening to Abraham's words, to your words, freaks him out, because the fear and the whole idea of that he could be in charge of changing what he wants to have changed. It's just very difficult, and I'm wondering what I can do. I pretty much, don't play Abraham in front of him. And, but I don't want to force it, but it's really painful to me to be so close and have such
all right, so you say,
opposition.
I don't know what to do. And what I'm looking at is painful to me. So what that means is, as you're having this experience with this person, and you are feeling more and more free and more in control of your own life, and whenever you feel good, you wish it for those you love. So you are creating a dream or a creation that has this person's well-being in it. In other words, you want for this person something that you see this person is not living. And the more you see him fearful, the more you want him to relax. The more you see his frustration in life, the more you want him to feel better. So your dream about him and how he feels is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So now, when you let what he's living and how he's feeling attract your attention, so that you're looking at what is rather than at the dream that what is has helped you create, now you're getting separated from your stream on this subject, so you can't help him. In other words, whether he's fearful over something else and now you're fearful because he's fearful, you're still fearful and you've got nothing to give him. So again, you've got to take an emotional journey. You have to be hopeful about his well-being, even when the evidence doesn't show it, in the same way that you have to be optimistic about your business before the evidence shows it. And it's tricky because most of you have trained yourself completely to just sloppily look around and have knee-jerk emotional responses to what is. So if you see something really cute on television, you say, oh, that's so cute. And if you see something really horrible, you say, oh, that's so horrible. But you act like you don't have control of the remote. You act like it's just your job to look around, and whatever's there, it's your responsibility to absorb it and vibrate it and live a little of it. And we say, you don't do that when you go to the food buffet. You don't say, well, I hate most of this stuff, but give me a little bit of all of it. Everybody's eating it, I guess I should too. And you don't say, I don't want that, and 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 I've had that. I don't ever want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. And the person behind the counter is saying, well, this might go faster if you just tell me what you do want. And so most of you are giving most of your vibration, which law of attraction is responding to, in response to what you're observing, and you're sloppy observers. Where if you care about how you feel, then you start selectively sifting. So you have, without even knowing you've been doing it, you've created a vision of this life together. You've created a vision of the way this person feels and the way you feel and the way you feel together. You've created this vision of all of this, and you're contradicting your own vision by looking at your current reality. Ooh, did you hear how powerful that is? And you say, well, Abraham, duh, what is big. I can see it, I can smell it, I can hear it, I can taste it, I can feel it. What is big. It's manifested. Of course it has my attention. And we say, don't let it have all of your attention. Don't even let it have most of your attention. Give your attention to the vision, not to the reality. And when you do, the reality will begin to take shape of the vision.
Even when it's another person. Because
everyone's another person. Everything's about everything around you. Everything that you are creating with, everything is something different from you over which you have influence.